a different topic. A topic that's wild because of the impact it's going to have for the entire world, especially within the next 10 years. And that, my friends, is AI. And for those of you who are from, yes, Coffeezilla, Coffee freaking Zilla. He is, I love Coffeezilla. But I don't know if you guys know, but here in the United States, I think they passed something that was like a 10 years of AI just do whatever you want. I'm just not going to regulate it. And so this is about to become, it already is coming, but it's a huge part of everyday life. And yes, I think you're correct. I think it's about to peak because things are getting interesting. And this is the dangerous, this video is going to show the dangerous side of AI, even though I am all about AI because think of what we can do with an advancement in technology. We haven't seen anything like this since the late 90s and the early 2000s when cell phones and computers first came out. We haven't seen anything like this since then. And I'm just old enough too that I appreciated playing outside with sticks and with my homies, but also appreciated getting my first phone in middle school. God, that was great. Anybody else get a phone in middle school? Anybody else that freaking old? You goddamn cringe millennials. Yes, I am a cringe millennial. I will be known and go down for inventing the word cringe and being the cringe of the world. It's so annoying. But this is a little dark side of AI, and we'll get into it right now.
Built on lies, but you wouldn't know it from the New York Times article, which went viral. And honestly, I was as deceived by it as many people were. I'm not a total AI skeptic. I have my criticisms, but when I saw the New York Times say that AI helped one man and his brother build a $1.8 billion company, I was interested. I wanted to know.
Yeah, who wouldn't be interested? And AI is going to help you build the millions?
How they did it. And to be
You're old getting your first phone. My goodness, you're young. You're a
honest,
youngin'.
based on how the article is written, I was really impressed. You know, this guy has Medv. It's a telehealth provider of GLP-1 weight loss drugs. And the business just takes off right away because this guy has figured out the power of automating tasks with AI. And by 2025, Medv's first full year in business, the company generated $400 million in sales. This year,
That's such a red flag. That's such a red flag. Dude, no business generates 401 million. Okay, it is just sales. It's not profit.
they're on track to do $1.8 billion. Now that is just
That's okay.
mind-blowing. And in a big way,
That's
this
still
article
ridiculous.
credits AI. It says AI turbocharged it. It's not an AI company, but I did it with AI. A $1.8 billion.
Why do people keep doing that? Like, they sit there and just like, they're afraid to say they used AI to do something when they're clearly using it to do something. And like, come on. The AI created this entire
Company with
thing.
just 2 employees. In the age of AI, it's increasingly possible. And it really preys on this kind of big prophetic idea from the AI bros, specifically Sam Altman, that this is sort of destined to happen because of
Of course,
how
Sam
powerful AI
Altman.
is.
Dude, I
So it's
cannot
kind of
find
the
a good
first
spot for this.
version of a one-person billion-dollar firm. And this article mentions that explicitly. In an email, Mr. Altman said it appeared he had won a bet over whether such a company would appear and he would like to meet the guy who had done it. So on the surface, right, it seems like the American dream. A guy goes from not being very successful to all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he has this billion-dollar company, all because he prompted, ChatGPT or whatever. But this is what they don't tell you. Behind the scenes, right, behind all the gloss, They don't tell you about the shady billing, fake doctors, warning letter from the FDA, snake oil, class action lawsuit, fake before and after pictures, and fake ads. That this whole thing is basically fake before and after.
Dude, they literally have a warning letter from the FDA. Why would I just don't get how people are so dumb? It's because and it's because we don't put the hammer down. We have got to start putting the hammer down on these people in this country. We have to put the gavel down. We cannot let people keep doing this. This is the reason this is happening is because the reason this is happening is because our government is letting this happen. There's nothing else to explain as why this is happening. It's because it's so easy for some people if they're charismatic and smart enough that they can just go under the radar and commit this kind of fraud and blatantly too. And you're just sitting there just like, how come the government doesn't catch it? It's because they don't want to catch it, or they don't want to do their jobs, or it's not that big of a deal. We got to go after bigger and badder people. And so they let stupid people get away with this, but at the same time, they're eventually going to get caught because they're stupid.
Pictures and fake ads. That this whole thing is basically built on.
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
That in this story, you're also going to see a lot of allegations from actual customers of the company, which the New York Times doesn't spend a lot of time on. In fact, they mentioned very briefly that
this was published by the New York Times.
Before and after photos with AI. But when some of these practices are discussed,
you
it's mostly
can't
done
trust the New York
under the
Times.
guise of, they were just fake.
Real quick, off topic. While we're talking about the New York Times and how crap and dog shit they are, they took the mini freaking puzzle off of their free games. So I can't do the mini crossword puzzle anymore when I want to do my daily games on the New York Times. You gotta subscribe and pay money now. They only have like 3 or 4 that you can use now.
Until they made it, and now they're going to, stop taking those shortcuts. Specifically, they say they were going to fix some of the shortcuts he had originally taken, like swapping out some of the before and after weight loss photos for ones with real customers. And really, the question for me is this a legitimate company? Are they scamming people? Did they do it the right way? Is this just AI applied?
Not if they're doing this.
He had originally taken
not if they're doing this.
Before and after weight loss photos for ones with real customers. And really, the question for me is this a legitimate company? Are they scamming people? Did they do it the right way? Is this just AI applied? And that's kind of a...
Yeah, this is bad. This is bad. This is so bad.
Conflict at the heart of this. So I'm going to walk you through a lot of the evidence that the New York Times either glossed over or just explicitly didn't mention.
They didn't. Okay, so they didn't gloss over it, and they didn't just forget to mention it. There's a big problem, especially, and this is why, especially a lot of gamers are drilling critics and stuff, and all these news outlets, because what people are doing is they're jumping at a topic without any other information. Just like, I have to be the first to report this, so they just report it, just so that they're the first. I don't think they've named the company yet, to be honest. But, yeah.
And I want to credit an amazing investigation by Futurism, which basically investigated all of this in 2025 and specifically calls out things like their website.
It's a weight loss. It's a weight loss company. Okay. So I already know what's happening. It's a fake weight loss company that also, so if you has anybody heard of like that therapy website that was huge that also got in trouble for having fake therapists, by the way? I forget what it was called, but anyways. So basically these guys probably provide services and weight loss pills and stuff like that don't work, and they don't tell you that they don't work. And so you still stay heavier, and then they just take all your money.
Site featuring AI-generated photos. Things like their product photos having AI-generated text, solution faux injection. And Futurism also are the people that actually found that this website
they can't even
was
spell
using
right.
fake
Can't
photos.
even spell right.
They were
Medvi.
changing the
Medvi
photos.
is what it's called.
Here's a
Medvi.
weight loss photo that had been circulating around the world. It was hosted by the Daily Mail. This was apparently a Redditor who in 2016 engaged in a...
Guys, this is why you will hear me stress. And yes, every once in a while I'm bad at it too, especially if I'm rushed for time. Do your research on stuff. Don't just take something for face value and then just run with it. New York Times and Daily Mail, those are two huge outlets. Not only in newspaper, but on X too. That just, oh, here's this for face value. We're just going to post it. And then we're going to see what happens afterwards. Just do your research on every topic. And if you don't know anything about a topic, that's okay. It's
weight loss
okay.
challenge, and over a period of time lost 35 pounds in 1 year. Now,
35
over
pounds.
on Medvi's website, they used the same guy. They added glasses to his face and a beard and said it's Michael P, and he lost 48 pounds in 5 months. So they increased the amount of weight he had supposedly lost. He was not their customer, and they shortened the amount of time he took to do it. But I actually wanted to add...
Guys, I'm so sorry I'm pausing. But guys, and they're making millions of dollars by being stupid. Just because there's no accountability.
on to Futurism's investigation here, because I found they then later in the archive changed the picture entirely. Okay, you'll see though that even though it's a completely different picture, totally different guy, totally
They are
different thing,
fixing
it's
their
still
mistakes
definitely a
live.
lie because they kept the guy's name, the amount he lost, and the amount of time he lost it in. They just changed the guy.
Just a different person.
They took their fake testimonial and just swapped out the photos. So this whole thing is built online. By the way,
Dude, and he's smiling. Bro, Coffeezilla is pissed about this. He is not happy about this. You can tell that he is not happy about this. They changed
dig into
nothing.
this, you're gonna hear-
They changed nothing.
a lot
Nothing.
that they blame affiliates for a lot of the shady marketing, but I just want to be clear that these before and after photos were hosted on their website. Like, this wasn't someone else who did this. They had this on their website.
This was on their own
and although
website.
the New York Times goes through lengths to say, oh, they're taking those shortcuts away. They're going to fix all of this stuff. I just want to point out that as recently as
Yeah,
last
to cover
month,
your ass for
this
taking
photo
something
was
at
on
face
YouTube,
value
okay?
and posting
As
it all over the
recently as
internet.
March. So the idea that, oh, they're fixing it up, to me it seems like they're fixing it up for a New York Times profile. Because this is where
Yeah.
we need to get to
Yeah.
the ads that are
They
still
gotta-
running right now.
They got to make sure the
today
New York
for
Times
these
doesn't catch on to their
GLP-1
bullshit,
drugs
so that the
they're
New York
selling
Times doesn't
online.
get
Because
caught
in
too.
addition to fake testimonials from customers, they also have a bunch of fake doctors promoting this stuff.
Okay. So they have fake doctors promoting this stuff. Please, 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 for the love of God, please tell me that these are actual doctors that they just put on their internet. Please, please tell me that these are actual doctors, but they just posted them on their internet. You could, please.
This is the Meta Ads library, where you can see a series of Dr. Sarah Martin, Dr. Monica Ashford, Dr. Lena Fisher, all promoting, guess who? Medvi. And specifically, I want to show you that some of these ads are, once again, lying about before and after photos. Here's one about Medvi.
I got this tirzepatide pen to try, so you don't have to. Been reading on it
Tirzepatide
for
pen.
months. Finally made the move, ready.
I got this pin so I can try it, so you don't have to do any research. You just trust me is going to work for you. They won't tell you anything. They'll just take your money and give you a slap on the butt and say, have a good day. You're going to get skinny.
to start. Feeling pumped, a bit nervous, but mostly excited. 60 days in and feeling great. Look how much weight I've lost.
All right, so these are supposedly
Bruh.
the before and after videos. And it's obvious that this is AI generated. This is
What,
not
they
a
put it
real
up, like,
doctor.
2 days
It's also
later?
not a real patient. This is just lies. And again, it's hard to distinguish. Is this an affiliate? Is it not? But I just want you to understand this is still happening to this day. It's just a bunch of scammy Facebook ads of fake doctor accounts showing you AI slop fake patient testimonials. And this is supposedly the great breakthrough in AI, right? This is
Time out. Is this true? This is today. This is right now at 3:52 p.m. in the middle of the United States, smack dab in Missouri. And this is still up. 9.8 ratings. Let's visit the site. Oh, am I qualified? I'm not going to do this. Actually, yes, I am going to do this. I'm going to do this. Wait. 6-1. Chat. Don't look. Don't look. Let's just say an even 210. That sounds good. I'm not putting my real birthday. Oh. Wait, how long is this? Holy cow. Dude, how long is this? We're not doing this. It was a good thought, but it seems like there's too much to do to this. But anyways, the act, but like he said, it is still up and it is still running. And that is crazy.
Supposedly the power of AI. I also want to show you, this is an allegation from a class action lawsuit filed specifically against Open Health Inc., which is one of the partners of Medvi. And you'll see
A partner that probably doesn't exist.
that a lot of the doctors that are on some of these websites, because you have to understand, Medvi is just one of the most successful versions. There's a bunch of kind of copycats, and they all kind of cite this Dr. Annalisa Carr.
Oh my gosh! If any of these doctors that were listed,
Mansauer,
if any of them made a video, that'd be hilarious.
Look like on Medvi's website. Dr. Annalisa Carr, Dr. David Mansauer, Dr. Kelly Timbrey.
I changed the profile pic, bro.
The same name, but different photos of these supposed doctors. Now, unlike the Facebook fake doctors that are in all of these ads, these actually appear to be real people that exist, although their exact involvement is unclear. This is the Futurism article, who actually contacted each doctor to ask if they could confirm their involvement with Medvi, and one of them insisted he had nothing to do with either company and they need to remove him from their sites. There's also a massive allegation in this class action lawsuit, which is that one of the key compounds that they're selling, they claim is snake oil, actually, and just doesn't work explicitly. This is the terzepatide tablets. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but that is a real compound that exists in some of the injectables, but they're saying that this is an oral formulation. But the class action complaint alleges that the oral terzepatide is a product that's never been approved, has no demonstrated mechanism of absorption or efficacy, and functions as modern-day snake oil, a pharmacologically inert compound when delivered via a pill. The idea is that...
You know what the worst part about all this is, too? That people are just taking these pills, taking these injections. They got to do a better job, especially in school, teaching you about how the world works, teaching you about finances, teaching you about marketing, all this stuff. Because growing up through high school, you really don't learn about this, especially finances. You know how hard it is to buy a house, how hard it is even to buy a car or anything really. But in high school and college, it's just like they don't teach you anything. Like we gotta stop learning stuff that doesn't matter, and we gotta learn stuff that's going to actually contribute to what we're going to be doing in life. Yeah, quit teaching. Yeah, quit teaching weird formulas. Oh my gosh, yes. While on that, my niece brought home some math work. Bruh. Like 10 years old. And dude, I don't know what you're doing. You can explain it to me 10 more times. I'm just not going to comprehend it. I'm either too old or too dumb, or you're learning some stupid stuff that doesn't matter.
An injection, it would actually work, but because they're selling it as something you take like a pill, which is obviously more appealing to a lot of consumers, it is inert. And look, this is what I'll have to say.
Pills are so much more
but
appealing than
Lilly,
injectables.
The people who actually manufacture this stuff, says there are no human studies, let alone clinical trials, involving any oral terzepatide product, meaning anyone selling it is making unproven claims and is experimenting on unsuspecting Americans. Now, that's a little bit different than, the New York Times.
Dude, people have no morals. Just like Tiger Woods in that video hitting that vehicle or clipping it, sorry. Like people don't care about it. We have got to start getting back to a world where consumers and people are the most important. Like we have to. Like we just have to. We have to do stuff for the consumer. This is so bad. This is so bad in so many ways.
Glowing article. Sounds a little bit different than the way this has all been framed as some like American dream story. I mean, I think that should have been included. Now, I also want to mention that Medvi has gotten an FDA warning letter. Specifically, the warning includes, quote, your website's false and misleading claims concerning compounded semaglutide and
But as we
tirzepatide
just
products.
checked,
So really, when you dig
this
into this
site
stuff,
is still
this
up.
is a really shady website that took advantage of a loose regulatory regime to shove down a bunch of AI
2 days
slop
later after this
down
video,
people's
it's
throats
still
in
up.
order to get them to buy products that in some cases, according to the people who actually make the product, allegedly don't work in that form, or at least there's no evidence that it works. This is further borne out by some of the reviews where April, for example, who reviewed this product, says almost $2,000 spent, and not only did I not lose weight, but I gained. Finally, someone said that the oral doesn't work and I should do the injection. That was when I knew I was done.
But an injection from a different company, right? I mean, I get it's hard for a lot of people, but if you got like a dog, go take your dog on a walk. I love going to the gym. And I'm fat. It's
Was done.
because I like to eat.
I took the oral tirzepatide. Then at the appointment, they said orals don't work and switched me to injections.
So, you know what happened too? She probably went and did an appointment. Wasn't told that. Here you go. Here's your oral medication. Give me $2,000. Okay, here you go. Because I'm gullible. And then came back because still fat. This isn't work. Oh, I'm sorry. Bloody me. The pills don't work. You have to do the injectables. It'll be another $2,000, please.
This review gives 1 star and they say, I'm beyond frustrated with this company. I chose the oral medication for ease of use of the product. It was delivered very wet and immediately started melting and was finally told on the 3rd week that I should not be taking a defective product. Wendy gave it 1 star and said medication was deemed ineffective. Trina says, do not buy oral tirzepatide. It doesn't work. They don't tell you this during the appointment. They accept your money and let you find out for yourself. And maybe just as bad,
they do.
some of the billing practices, of course, are shady, which is what you'd expect from a company like this. Horrible buyer beware. They doubled the price and charged my credit card without sending any medication. Like many people in these reviews, I did not receive the product, but was charged $3.99 and then told I would get a refund. Then later was told they don't refund. So I hope by now you can see why I'm a bit annoyed and feel like I have to give the other side of the story when I see an article like this that uncritically lifts up a company for getting a massive
The New
amount
York
of sales,
Times for you.
sure,
The
but
New
how
York
they got those
Times.
sales is just as
That is
important, if
crazy.
not more important. I mean, this is the exact opposite of a success story other than their dollars. And that's what's so worrying is, if anything, this is a warning sign about where we're going with AI, where all the doctors, all the lawyers you see online are fake. All the reviews you see are totally fake. The person who's telling you this
BetterHelp.
product saved their life, they're completely AI generated. It's
I
just
think
not
that
a great
BetterHelp or
outcome,
something like
and
that.
this
I think that's
story,
what I
if
was thinking
anything,
of.
is a
It
sign
had the fake
of that. So yeah, I
psychiatrist,
take pains to avoid
psychologist.
mentioning the author of this article's name, as well as the person who ran Medvi. Instead, I specifically want to shout out Maggie Dupre, who did a great job investigating this back in 2025. Her work, unfortunately, got a lot less attention, but it's a great piece of journalism. So anyways, that's basically it. See ya. AI skeptic. I have my criticisms, but when I saw the New York Times say that AI helped one man
$1.8 billion taken from American wallets by a guy that didn't give any correct services, complete fraud, nothing worked. FDA didn't approve it. FDA told them that they were going to shut them down, and the site is still up today. Make this make sense, guys. Make this make sense, because it don't make no sense to me. This is literally the effect of government not caring about the medical scene to the point where people start going to some shady work and believing them at face value. Yes, that is absolutely true. And it's with this, with pretty much everything. Either people can't get the assistance they need, or it's not feasible for them, and so they put their trust in companies like this who offer sometimes too good to be true things, and it's just all downhill from here. But keep that in mind, $1.8 billion taken away from people who probably needed it too. That is insane.